Welcome, everybody, to Your Marriage Matters. I'm Jim.
And I'm Christy. And yes, that thumbnail is us holding up our first day of school signs. And Jim is in the 72nd year grade.
And Christy's rocking the grade. We did have fun with those signs, baby, because it is school time. Our grandkids are going back to school. They held up the signs and everything. But we're also 100% serious about this idea of going back to school for sure.
Now, not literally going back to school, but definitely in our mindset. Because if you want to know what our number one marriage flex is, we never stop learning.
That's it. We're never going to stop learning and growing. That's the flex that you saw on the thumbnail out there. It's not that we're perfect.
Far from it.
It's not that we have all the answers. No.
No.
It's that we keep choosing to grow as individuals and as a couple for sure.
Right. And today we want to share why that mindset is so foundational to us and why we believe it's the best thing we've ever done for our marriage. So, if you're wondering what makes our growth your flex, here's what we found after 38 years of marriage.
38.
Lots of ups and downs
Yeah.
and a whole lot of learning. One of the things that comes up for me when I think about continuous learning is that you can't pour from an empty cup. When we're growing, we're healthier. And when we're healthy, we have more to give to each other.
For sure.
As a counselor, a lot of times I will tell people the importance of self care and the importance of refilling that cup. And it sounds selfish when we say the word self care, but in actuality, there's nothing that can lead to more growth is than you taking care of yourself. Because if you don't, who else is responsible for that?
Yeah.
So I always want to make sure that people know to recharge their own batteries and refill their own cup.
Yeah.
And personal growth sparks relational growth. So when one of us levels up spiritually, mentally, emotionally, even physically, our marriage gets stronger too. We don't ever grow at the same time or the same rate, but it's really important that we look at our own personal growth as a way to help our relationship
For sure.
to grow.
Yep.
I love this time of year. I love back to school because it's fresh starts, it's resets. And but it also keeps our marriage dynamic. We're not the same people we were in our 20s.
For sure.
And honestly, thank goodness for that. In some ways, the physical part's a little difficult, but growth keeps things exciting and growth keeps us moving forward. And in some ways, growth is what we need to keep doing so that we're not the same people we were in our 20s.
Yeah, I love that meme that says we should all be a little bit embarrassed by who we were 5 years ago.
For sure.
Yeah.
Growth also helps us to keep resilient. When things go sideways, and they oftentimes do, a growth mindset helps us to bounce back and learn from it. And one of the things I know it's a core skill for sales is that we're resilient and we keep growing. And one of the things that I've had to do recently that has really made me step outside my comfort zone is in the area of sales. I hate with every cell within me to ask people for money. I hate it. But also, I know how important it is. For those of you who don't know, we're involved with a rally in Kerrville, Texas, and Kerrville in July 4th was devastated
Wow.
by some of the horrific floods caused by the Guadalupe River. And one of the things I do is I want to help the people in that region, especially the volunteer fire departments. And so I've made it my personal challenge to reach out to people and ask for donations. Do not like it, but I've learned that it's making me more resilient and I can do hard things and I can grow and learn and become better at it. And I've had to challenge my own beliefs about myself saying, I hate sales or I don't like to do this, making me step outside my comfort zone. And that growth has created resilience.
Well, two things. One is I've enjoyed watching you do that. All right.
It must be painful to watch.
It's fun watching you do that because I've seen you reach outside your comfort zone, but also I kind of enjoy it because not that easy, is it? All of you think selling is so easy, right? But no, I've enjoyed watching you do it. I've been watching you grow, and you've done a great job at it. You've been very successful.
Well, it's been my own personal going back to school, and it does keep me humble that it's not, as you said, it's not easy. And it's made me curious. How do I get better at this? Because the best marriages aren't made by know-it-alls or people who just think that they've already arrived. They're made by people who are willing to say, I have something to learn. I have a lot to learn, and there's so many opportunities. And this going back to school triggers within us that commitment to growth and learning.
Awesome. I love those. And again, I've always said, you heard me in our keynote. So as long as we're learning, we're living. The
Mhm.
moment we start learning is the moment we start to die. I think our marriages are very much the same.
So
So
true.
I've got my own set of reasons why I think it's such an important flex.
Well,
Can I share those?
please do.
Awesome. I'm on it. We are currently in Tulsa, Oklahoma, visiting our kids and grandkids and having a super great time seeing them. I love the fact that our growth, our learning, our getting better, all of the things that we're about models great marriages for our grandkids
Mhm.
and for our kids.
Yes.
All right. I think Jason and Caitlin do a great job, but I love the fact that we can show our grandkids what it's like to be a couple that's always trying to get better.
Mhm.
Continue to learn, grow, guards against stagnation. And babe, how many marriages have we seen where the couple have just stopped growing and they've gotten stagnant? Nothing's getting better. They're the same person they were 10 years ago. We see a lot of those. And unfortunately, whenever we get stagnant, we can kind of drift with the
Mhm.
winds, if you will. And neither one of us have ever
Mhm.
seen a couple drift together.
Right.
They
Right.
always drift apart. And so we want to guard against that. That's what growing does. Um, Believe it or not, it makes conflict your favorite subject
Mhm. Not.
productive. We still argue, gang. Don't misunderstand that. But now, but again, because of some things that we're learning and getting better at, we've learned to be more self-aware. We've learned to ask for forgiveness. We've learned grace, and we're arguing about things I think really matter instead of arguing about stupid stuff like toothpaste
Mhm.
tubes and stuff like that. So it actually can make conflict more productive. It also learning, and babe, I don't know that there's a much better example out of this, but learning fuels vision. Just a little over 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we bought our first RV,
Mhm.
and I was not that into it. Christy wanted one. We did it, and my goodness, look where that has led
Mhm.
us. Look at all the things that we've seen, all the things that we've experienced, all the people that we've met, God's glory out there all over the United States. Because again, we're willing to learn and take on something a little out of the ordinary. Just recently, I played in a pickleball tournament. Not new to me, but I played singles. I played singles,
Mhm.
and I felt like a fish out of water. I'm a good pickleball player, guys. I'm not bad at all. But singles, I was just like totally lost. And somebody asked me about it. I said, yeah, I learned a long time ago. You've got to be willing to be a novice to be an expert.
Mhm.
And so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the learning. But again, the things that we talk about today, where are we going to go next year? Or we're going to go the year after that? Where are we going to take Beckham next year on our trip? We're looking out into the future, and I think learning fuels that vision. And at the end of the day, here's the last one. When we said I do, we made some promises to each other.
Mhm.
Continuing to learn is one of those promises that we were going to grow, that we were going to get better. And so I think continuing to learn actually honors that commitment we said when we said I do. And growth is how we keep becoming the husband that I promised to be, the wife that you promised to be, and the team Jacobus that we said we wanted to be together. So
Mhm.
there's 10 reasons why growth becomes a flex gang. And so again, you may have different reasons. If you do, don't hesitate to respond back at the bottom of the Facebook group or the whatever you saw this, and tell us what your growth flex is. Tell us what
Mhm.
you're all about. So
Right. So going back to school can be intentionally learning to be committed to growth. So yeah, that's our flex. Not perfection, not performance,
go
but
for
a
that.
deep down everyday commitment to growth. And we're going to spend the next month diving into that. But it all starts here with a commitment to never stop learning.
So, gang, as we kick off the back to school series this month, and we'll talk about that more in just a moment or two, that's what we want to challenge you with. What is the best way to strengthen your marriage? Is it to go back to school? All right. We think it is. And so that's what we're going to be talking about this month because at Your Marriage Matters, we are here. This is our tagline to help you experience everything you dreamed of and more. All
Mhm.
right. Because we found out there's always more
That's more.
when you said I do. That's what we're here about. So let's talk about this reset. All right. And again, if you've been with us for a while, you notice we paused for a little bit. We took a break. not because we're done, but it's because we're in a season of deep learning ourselves. And personally, relationally, spiritually, physically, even professionally, that brings us back to our flex growth. We weren't gone, although we were gone, all right, but we weren't gone completely like we're done with this. We were growing, and now we feel very compelled to share with you what we've been learning over the last couple of years or so. And, gang, we may come and go on the podcast from time to time, but we're never going to dump stuff on you that's just a waste of time. And we'll always want to make sure we're bringing stuff to you that's valuable. So that's why we're doing a little bit of a reset here. We'll tell you more about it in just a few minutes. So,
And it's also kind of like God hit the reset button and said, there's still so much for you guys to do. So get back out there. And in working with clients in counseling, I periodically know that there's so much more in the current lifestyles that we live that people are dealing with. And we want to be resources to folks out there, not just in counseling practice, people who go to counseling, but people who could use some real practical tips for dealing with some of the situations that are happening in their lives.
So what can you expect from us moving forward? One, we're going to be doing weekly podcasts, a little bit different format, babe. I'm kind of excited about this. This is what we call a team podcast, all right? Where we're doing it together. But then once a month, you're going to do a podcast by yourself, and I'm going to do one by myself, so that you can get our different perspectives, and not just male, female. Although I'm sure that's going to come out. We're different there, but you and I see a lot of things in this world a little differently. Chrissy has the background of being a counselor for quite some time now. I'm very experienced, very talented at it. I've got a background as being a coach. Chrissy deals with, loves pre-marrieds. I deal with divorce care. And so there's going to be a little different format. And then once a month, we're going to do an interview with somebody that is an expert. Like, for instance, this month, we're going to have Matt and Julie Barnhill on here, two of our favorite people. We love them. But every month we're going to have an expert on there. Also, we're going to be doing some YouTube videos. Your favorite word, video. Some Instagram, and maybe even a TikTok or two. You're so excited about that.
Yes.
Got to grow, baby. Got to grow.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Christy doing this video right here is a huge growth over just a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You hated it.
Oh,
and
still
now
not
you just,
favorite thing.
Now you mildly dislike it.
Mild distaste.
But anyway, so we are going to start what we can be consistent with, which is the podcast, showing up every week for you. This holds us accountable, and it gives us a new opportunity to learn how to work even better as a team. So,
yep, we believe your marriage matters, and we know that people are hungry for practical tips and good exercises and an excellent mindset. So that's what we hope to deliver to you. So let's talk about this month's theme, back to school.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time for couples to go back to school on their relationship. Your marriage is a classroom, and if we're not learning, we're probably drifting.
Yeah.
And as it's been said, no one ever usually drifts into success.
No.
This isn't about crisis, it's about intentionality and doing everything preventatively so that you're not dealing with the crisis.
Yeah, one of the things we said a long time ago, the reason we're doing this is keep people out of your counseling room and keep them out of my divorce care class. So for sure. So what's ahead this month? All right, today's our foundational. Next week, I'm going to be doing Jim's Tools for Growth. I've got some great resources for you, things like relational needs, love languages, Paul Tripp's book, another book or two. I'm going to give you a lot of different resources that you can grow. Not every one of them is going to be perfect for you, but I guarantee you one of them you'll really enjoy. I'm not sure which one will be for you guys, but there'll be something. And then week 3, Christy's lesson plan for love.
That sounds creepy.
It does sound creepy, but I love saying it. Christy's lesson plan for love. All right. And then week 4, we got a special guest, Matt and Julie Barnhill, who really lived this thing out and are going to be sharing with you. So grab a notebook, a number 2 pencil, grab your spouse appropriately, and let's go back to school, because as Christy said earlier, the best classrooms don't just teach you, they transform you. And there's no better classroom on the planet than marriage.
Right. And we can't have a strong we without working on me. And oftentimes I'll ask couples, because they come to counseling and they think, if only I could change my spouse, or if only they would do this. And the easier place to go is owning our stuff, getting the help, investing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, in all ways. because that helps us to grow. And I oftentimes have to remind people there's three C's that we have to concern ourselves with. We can't change, control, or cure another person.
What?
And yeah, I'm not responsible for your change. I'm not responsible for your getting the help and
Amen.
healing that you need. Growth is very selfish, but it's also very crucial to the health in our marriage. When I grow, I show up better for you, and I love better when I'm healthy. And growth is how we stay connected.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm also fascinated with is longevity. As you get further down the continuum of life's numbers,
Further down.
yeah, further down.
At your age.
Yeah, what is the old saying? Life is like toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. But as we've gone further down the numbers, as our school ages are going further north, one of the things I want to be concerned about or want to look at is the years of life left, but not just in the number, but in the quality of our life.
Yeah.
And growth can totally help that. And we want to have a strong marriage, not just for us as a couple, but for those around us. That group that you talked about, kids, grandkids,
Yeah.
nieces, nephews,
Yeah.
people in our community,
Yeah.
friends, exactly. And growth will help us to do that.
So again, one of the things we talk about a lot is Team Jacobus. You see, I've got other side, other on my shirt here, Team Jacobus. And people go, what's this Team Jacobus stuff? Well, it's something that we crossed over onto a while back. We came upon that I think Babe was really instrumental in changing our attitude about what we do. We came to believe and act upon the fact that Team Jacobus is more important than either one of us individually.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's critical that we learn and grow individually, that we take responsibility for that. The three C's: I can't cure, change, or
control.
How convenient, I forget that one. Or control you, and learning to decide that my focus is on becoming the best version of myself I can be, knowing that you're doing the same thing. All right. And even if you didn't, the only thing I can do is become a better version of myself. But then also focusing on how do we become the best version of Team Jacobus together. That's what we have really gotten all about. We're going to challenge you guys to do the same thing. In the pursuit of that, we've learned to ask better questions like, what do you need? How can I support you? What's in the best interest of our marriage on this decision? How are you doing? How are we doing? Our Sunday night meeting that we just had a couple days ago, we asked the question, how you doing? All right. You ask me, how am I doing? Then we ask, how are we doing? And there've been times we said, we're struggling right now. We're not in step. We're disconnected. And so we decided to take action. And I love the fact that we're proactive about that. So this is our foundation: constant personal growth, relentless teamwork, and the belief that we can experience everything we dreamed of. There it is again, and more than what we thought we were going to have when we said I do. And I think we actually can say that is the case. And what's so exciting about this is we believe tomorrow's going to be better, and next year even better. So the reality is that's really God's plan for marriage all along. It's not just about romance. It's not just about cohabitation. It's not just about sex and all those kinds of things. It's about growth, right? In the first three chapters of his book, Tripp is really eye-opening in how he redirected us, in that the sense of the reason for our marriage is so that God could use you and I in each other's life to kind of round off those rough edges. And so we're going to be talking a lot about Tripp's book and some of the things in there. But at the end of the day, it's about a biblical foundation for growth.
Right. And before we jump in this week's practical challenge, we want to share one foundational truth: the idea of never stop learning. It's not just something we came up with, it's actually part of God's plan for marriage.
Yeah.
And why he created marriage in the first place. Because he didn't design marriage for just companionship, he designed it for transformation. And marriage is a classroom where we can learn to love like he loves. We want to love like Jesus, and we want to live like Jesus. And we love because he first loved us, as it said in 1 John 4:19. Marriage gives us a great place to learn how to love with patience, sacrifice, humility, and grace.
It also reveals what still needs to grow in us. That's one of the things I love about this. No matter how much we grow, all that's going to do is just reveal another area for us to grow. Proverbs 27:17 says, very familiarly, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. We might amend that to say, as iron sharpens iron, so one spouse sharpens another. Marriage will expose your rough edges. Oh boy. There's a lot of stuff come to mind there.
Yeah.
But again, God doesn't do that to shame us. God does that so he can shape us to be more like Jesus and to experience everything that he had in mind for us. Marriage mirrors God's relationship with us. In Ephesians 5, Paul tells husbands to love their wives as Christ loves the church. That's no small calling, obviously. It means our marriage reflects covenant love, faithful, forgiving, full of grace, and forever. Marriage also grows the fruit of the Spirit in us: love, joy, peace, patience, all from Galatians 5. And trust me, you don't grow patience without opportunities to practice it. In that movie, I think it's Almighty God Almighty, where Morgan Freeman's talking to the lady at the diner, and she's talking about wanting patience. And Morgan Freeman, who actually is God in the movie, asks her, "Do you think God gives you patience, or does God give you opportunities to grow patience?" And not that God couldn't give us gifts, that's for sure. Christy's way more patient than I am. She's got that gift. I don't. But marriage gives us those kinds of opportunities daily to grow and get better. And I love that part about it. That's what I enjoy about it right now. So,
And finally, marriage is a mission.
yep.
Genesis 2 says, and two shall become one. And that's not just the one time wedding event, it's a lifelong process. And together we can become a force for good in the world. And that to me is so exciting because there's so many opportunities out there for us to leave a legacy, not just for those in our family, but for those around us. And with what I said earlier about all the situations going on in Kerrville right now, there's an opportunity for us to partner together to learn and grow and get stronger, but not just for ourselves, but for the community that we serve. To make the world a better place is something that I think by learning we can actually do. And that to me is so exciting. So when we say our number one flex is that we never stop learning, what we really are saying is we're leaning into God's design for marriage, a design that transforms us, that matures us, that makes us more like Jesus and more united with each other.
And often we talk about the difference in fighting in your marriage versus fighting for your marriage. This is the kind of marriage worth fighting for. And we hope that we're going to inspire you to fight for yours as well. Trust me, whenever you start going down this road and wanting to get better at it, God's going to provide you all kinds of opportunities. We hope that you are fighting like heck for your marriage and doing the kinds of things so you can experience what God intended.
So now it's time for homework. What back
Homework.
to school would be complete without some
Yes.
homework to make your homework. So we have a downloadable resource for you. We'll have something like this for you every week. We promise.
We promise.
We promise.
Yeah, it
It's on
it
you.
reminds me of watching Decker do her homework yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
That's
so
cute.
sweet.
Yeah,
That's
she's in the grades now. So this week we have two tools for you. One is a marriage growth checklist, where you can kind of see where you're at in some of these areas that we've talked about today. And then there's a Team Us, all right, that'll be Team whatever your name is, growth plan, all in one awesome resource. All right, so share it with your spouse. That's actually where the magic happens, is when you guys sit down and do this together. Real quick note here, we are going to ask you for your email address to send it to you. We are not going to spam you. That's not what we're here for. For heaven's sake, I hate spam. If we ever violate that promise to you, then just, you know, unsubscribe and don't ever talk to us again. But I promise you, anytime you get an email from us, it's going to have something of value in there. And so that's just a quick little spam disclosure. Yes, we're going to ask you for your email address. No, we're not going to abuse that privilege that you give us. So.
And one of the things I love about back to school is buying all the new school supplies and new outfits.
Did I get a backpack?
You can get
A lunch kit?
A lunch kit. I actually, when this time of year rolls around, I'm nostalgic for all of those fun times. And for those of you who are living in it and in the middle of it, enjoy this time, treasure it. But what we're also going to do for our adult learners, or those of you going back to school with us, I'm suggesting that you start a marriage growth notebook. Keep track of what you're learning and share that with each other. And don't just learn something for learning it.
Yeah.
Learn something to do something about it. So that's a wrap on our first episode back.
Yeah.
It feels so good to be back.
That's feel good, yeah.
And it feels good to be back, going back to school. We're grateful and we're ready for what's next. And your marriage is something to build on season by season. So we're going to challenge you to keep growing, keep learning, keep working, and keep fighting for the marriage of your dreams.
So, gang, again, thumbnail says it. That's our number one flex. It can be yours too. Next week, I'm going to be flying solo and bringing you some awesome learning resources I talked about earlier for you and your marriage. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe, however you're getting this, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether you're following us through your favorite podcast tool. Please subscribe. Do me a favor, do us a favor, share this with others so that they can join us as well. Because, like we say, your marriage matters. And we're here to help you to experience everything you dreamed of and more when you said I do. So, love you, sweetie.
I love you too, babe.